What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got shocking, interesting news as UFC superstar, Ultimate Fighting Champion superstar, PFL, Professional Fighting League superstar, and mixed martial arts, MMA, heavyweight world champion, African superstar, Francis the Predator Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is 17 wins, 3 losses, no draws, 12 wins by way of knockout. He has 4 wins by way of submission and 1 win by way of decision in his respective discipline. Francis Ngannou, he made his debut in the sport of boxing, which has been his lifelong dream to become a heavyweight world champion. Francis Ngannou is 37 years of age, 6'5", with an 83-inch arm reach and weighs 270 pounds. He made his transition finally, and it was a success into the sport of boxing as he took on the undefeated lineal heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, who is now 34 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 24 wins by way of knockout, 35 years of age, 6'9", with an 85-inch arm reach at 275 pounds. They fought this past Saturday. And Francis Ngannou had way more success than anybody anticipated. Nobody anticipated Francis Ngannou having the success he had against Tyson Fury. Everybody looked at it as entertainment and an exhibition style fight. But Francis Ngannou, he was very competitive to the point where people feel like he was robbed. Tyson Fury won a split decision over Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou dropped Tyson Fury in the 3rd round of the fight. It garnered a lot of attention, a lot of momentum, and a lot of people took notice and interest in Francis Ngannou in the respective sport of boxing, so much so that the World Boxing Council President Mauricio Suleiman, board of 32 members, are interested in putting Francis Ngannou in the top 10 rankings of their sanction body. With that said, he's 0-1. A big fight started to brew, and now we find out that they having negotiations for Francis Ngannou to fight somebody he's familiar with, and dare I say, have a friendship with or a respective relationship, right? And that's Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC American heavyweight world champion, superstar boxer, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Deontay Wilder's 43 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 42 big wins by way of knockout. He is 38 years of age, 6'7", with an 83-inch arm reach, and typically weighs about 220 to 225 pounds. With that said, Francis Ngannou and Deontay Wilder started to become a thing. Francis Ngannou's from Cameroon. He's from Africa, the motherland. And Deontay Wilder has been exploring his roots in the motherland of Africa, right? Very in tune with his culture and his history. And so he's been looking to fight on the continent of Africa. Francis Ngannou obviously is born and raised there. They're looking to have the Rumble in the Jungle Part 2. We know Muhammad Ali and George Foreman did the first fight, and it was a huge success, historic event. And they want to duplicate that or do even better. Today's time with social media, it'll probably do close to it, right? With that said, Francis Ngannou reveals that Deontay Wilder has been taking up the sport of mixed martial arts, focusing on it, and they are planning to do a one-off, a real one-off. A lot of boxers talk about doing one-offs, meaning I'll do one in your respective sport, you do one in my respective sport. And Francis Ngannou is stating that Deontay Wilder and himself have been in conversations to do a fight in PFL. What's interesting here to note is that the PFL League allowed Francis Ngannou, after they signed him to a lucrative deal, to go to the sport of boxing and showcase his talents. Because in the UFC Ultimate Fighting Champions with President Dana White, he doesn't allow that. It took place with Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, they fought, and that was the second biggest fight in boxing history, the second biggest event. It did 4.3 million pay-per-view buys and grossed over $400 million in revenue. So to say it was a success is an understatement. It was a huge success. But Dana White is not interested in allowing his superstars to showcase their talents in boxing and transition, because he knows that they pay a lot more in the sport of boxing than they do in the UFC. And he knows that if they venture off into boxing, they might not come back. After they get a taste of that money, that success, and that advertisement and that acknowledgement, they might not come back. So Francis Ngannou, he had to part ways with the UFC, and he signed with the PFL to be able to attempt to fulfill his lifelong dream. And like he stated, he tested the waters. He was shy about getting in the waters. Then he realized he could swim. And not only can he swim, like he stated, he realized he could swim with the sharks, because Tyson Fury is considered the best fighter and the best heavyweight of his era. Okay. And Tyson Fury is undefeated, a lineal champion, former unified champion, now the reigning WBC champion. And so he got a taste of that money. He guaranteed $10 million. He made more money in one fight with Tyson Fury than he's made his entire career as a UFC fighter in total. So Francis Ngannou, is safe to say, realizes that going into the sport of boxing not only was a lifelong dream because of the Rumble in the Jungle and fights like that, but because he knows he can financially support his lifestyle and his family, right? And the PFL allowed him to do so, but now they're trying to wheel him back in. Hey, you got to represent our brand. Bring all that newfound fame, because he got a lot of momentum, a lot of attention, a lot of acknowledgement. Bring all that acknowledgement and all that newfound fame back over here with us, right? And so with that said, Francis Ngannou now is saying that Deontay Wilder is agreeing to go to the UFC. Now, Deontay Wilder recently did an interview where he stated that he was taking up the respective discipline of the UFC. And Deontay Wilder, is now in a place where he's like, I'm taking mixed martial arts completely serious. I want to campaign and compete in MMA. I want to become a champion there. It's not just a one-off. So Francis Ngannou is saying that they're trying to put a deal together where Deontay Wilder goes to the PFL, possibly in the first fight, right? And they fight there. Then they go to boxing. Because if they go to the PFL, it's not going to be as big as boxing. Mixed martial arts is not as big as boxing. Boxing is a much bigger sport than MMA universally, right? So they go over to the PFL, showcase their talents, and then have a boxing match in Africa. I would suggest they have the boxing match in Africa first, because depending upon how it unfolds and how things play out with the PFL and the mixed martial arts, it may lose some of its luster. But if they go to a boxing match first, they're going to get a lot more attention, a lot more acknowledgement, regardless of what the outcome is, right? And then if Deontay Wilder, I expect him to be victorious, was victorious against Francis Ngannou, and all that momentum and all that attention, you're going to get both the worlds. Like the worlds are right now are coming together, the boxing world and the mixed martial arts world, they're coming together big time. And now there's so much momentum for Francis Ngannou because of boxing. Now, if Tyson Fury went to UFC or PFL, Professional Fighting League, which is a spinoff of the UFC, no disrespect to them, but it's the same type of sport, same discipline, just a different league. And Tyson Fury went there right now, that would do over 1 million pay-per-views, because so many people will be intrigued to see what happens in the UFC, because boxing is such a big platform. It's such a big sport that it translates, it garners so much attention, so much momentum, that now you take that momentum into the UFC. So if Deontay Wilder and Tyson and Francis Ngannou, they fought in Africa in a boxing match, and then they take that to the PFL, it would be enormous. Enormous, because see, in the sport of boxing, when you take a loss, the reaction is completely different. The perception is completely different than it is in UFC. So Francis Ngannou could take a loss in boxing and they still going to support. But if you take a loss in the UFC, you're going to lose some of your luster going back to the sport of boxing. So I believe that they should do the boxing match first. Do a one-off, sign a one-off. Deontay Wilder's serious about doing it. Do a one-off where Deontay Wilder fights. Y'all fighting boxing match. Sign with the PFL. Make the PFL aware. Listen, we're going to guarantee that we do the rematch in your league. Like in the sport of boxing, you have a rematch clause. The rematch clause will just be in a different spectacle. It'll be in boxing. I mean, in the UFC format, mixed martial arts. This is huge news. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. And the fact that if they had a fight in Africa, and then the world knows that they have the rematch that's going to take place in the UFC, oh my goodness. Talk about the amount of momentum and attention this fight would get. Huge, huge, huge. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. You already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.